Thunder in Paradise, the show where men walk from point A to point B. Where women walk from point A to point B, but in less clothing. And where men and women walk together from point D to horny town faster than you can say raging Hulkster. Hulk Hogan stars as Spencer, the man who popped a blood vessel in his eye at some point during filming and seriously struggles with whether or not they should address it. The show that Chris Lemons credits as ruining his career, but I think we can all agree he was perfectly fine at letting his acting do that for him.
Tell me a dream. No, not at all. It was, listen, if you ever need a model, I can...
Well, what's yours?
And where everyone continues to toe the line of inappropriate with this little girl, and it makes us all very uncomfortable. So, let's start from the top because this is Redeye Reviews. We start with an intro that is so 90s, it'll make slap bracelets look like Tiffany & Co.
Waiting in anticipation for the action to begin. Baby, I wanna hear.
It's still not as 90s as the Nickelodeon radio, though. No, and if anybody has one of these, I am in the market. Also, if you're getting Baywatch vibes, well, it's because this show was made by the same people, so buckle up. A generic old white man walks around in a suit, watching the young ones slowly drown each other under the public showers. Meanwhile, the Hulkster is telling a very appropriate story to an 8-year-old girl.
Our Navy SEAL team threw us a going-away party, got me totally drunk, and shoved me in a tank with a shark that hadn't been fed for 3 weeks. Then I got my hand inside its gill, the other on its dorsal, and I yanked as hard as I could.
Sometimes he gets 8-year-old girls confused with 40-year-old washed-up frat boys, and it's an honest mistake. They look a lot alike.
A human head!
However, he does think fast, and he uses the small child as a walking napkin for his fishy hands. He tries to mask her new fishy scent with even more of it by draping a piece of ocean trash around her neck. Meanwhile, the old man has his trousers fitting just a little tighter after he walks around this orgy of a beach.
I've known I couldn't trust you since I was 6 and caught you with your hand in my Halloween bag.
I was merely making sure there were no razor blades in it.
He talks with his niece who owns the hotel. Turns out her dad left the hotel to her in his will, but he wanted to make his will a legal frickin' nightmare, and he put a bunch of weird stuff in there.
And you should have honored the terms of his will. They were very explicit.
I still have 2 days.
One of which says that unless she's married by a certain day, she has to just hand the hotel over to her uncle. And we all know what sort of filth this man's into. So, we have 48 hours to get married. And yeah, that's right. I said 48 hours. It's all in the will, folks. Just read the will.
Reckon it's too late. The clause is very carefully worded. There's no possible way that you could get married in the next 48 hours.
Meanwhile, our man is attempting to air dry the small child by parasailing with her.
I thought Mom be inside working.
RJ Spencer, you are the most reckless, irresponsible, juvenile delinquent of a man I have ever met.
Parasailing in a pair of budgie smugglers. And if you're wondering why they're called budgie smugglers, well, just use your imagination there.
Jessica, please go and wait for me inside.
Her mother shows up. Turns out it's the hotel owner, and she's like, "Hey, Hulk, this is really not appropriate. I never asked you to babysit. Could you please put her down, leave her alone, and wear a swimsuit that doesn't allow you to rest your ball sack on somebody's shoulder? Then, a lady who is trashier than the stuff currently draped around that child's neck shows up. And my God, does she love budgies.
Why don't we go lay this down behind the dunes? And I'll show you how exciting a parachute ride can be.
I love excitement.
So, trying to figure out how to get married in 2 days, this lady gives her a wedding ring, and it clearly does not fit her. There's no amount of camera magic to fix that. But I will give her a break because I'm pretty sure she's drunk as hell.
I love that wicked smile.
Yeah, no, that's pretty safe to say. I think she probably had a few too many Mai Tais. Or I guess in these parts, it'd probably be sex on the beach. They decide the best person to marry is Hulk Hogan. The obvious choice.
You
If I...
marry me.
So, to sweeten the deal, she agrees to pay his bank loans off in return for marriage.
How far behind on your bank loan are you?
93,000.
Yeah, no, they play it all cute, but essentially he left the military when they didn't allow him to modify one of their government boats. And to prove him wrong, I guess he took out a huge personal loan and built the boat himself.
You know, after they turned down my idea for Thunder, I decided to leave the Navy and build her myself.
A boat, by the way, I want to point out we haven't even seen outside of the opening credits of the show. We also see that snooty little Seagal from earlier made so much newfound blood swell through Hulk Hogan's body that he popped a blood vessel in his eye. And it is haunting. It's like if somebody with pink eye got punched in the face. It's bad. It's bad.
Let me get this straight. You're willing to pay me to marry you?
Meanwhile, Chris Lemons, the self-proclaimed Oscar-worthy actor, chats it up with our bartender.
I mean, first the stealth malfunction, then I couldn't maintain full thrust commitment.
He asks her what her biggest dream is.
Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to go to Italy, to Florence, and apprentice myself out to an artist. There is nothing in the world as sensual as running your hands over the contours of the marble, closing your eyes and feeling the smooth, cool texture. That's rough-hewn strength.
And yeah, she basically wants to f*** a statue. That's what I can tell. Is it the material marble or the word marble? Regardless, let's not take any chances. Nobody tell her about the 1990s craze of marble runs. Do you guys know that they have their own Olympics now? They do. I mean, we already know the Olympic Village is apparently one giant orgy, so, I'm just saying. It's best to keep these two apart unless you want some really freaky-looking babies. But I digress. Let's find out what his dream is.
My dream? Actually, it's about you, Kelly. I dream about the two of us in a, conjugal kind of way.
She wants to bang marbles and he wants to bang her. What a wonderful web we weave. So, to make the marriage convincing, they do the proposal in a public place.
Marry me! I can't keep my feelings a secret any longer. I want everyone to know how much I love you, how much I need you, how I can't live without you.
Me down.
Gah, that eye it's hard to look at. It's quite the sight, some would say. So everybody on the beach is happy. The little girl is super stoked because now this man will be her father. It does not really make that paragliding scene any better for me, but on paper, I guess it checks out. Meanwhile, the writers remembered this show needs some action, so we cut to the ocean.
Look, these clients are going to have to wait a couple of days for their weapons. We got a little business here we have to take care of.
Here, we find some bad guys. They see that little girl in the paper, who, a little girl, by the way, I want to point out, was photographed earlier without her consent.
It was inside of a shark.
Don't worry, it was dead.
Do you all see what I mean about the weird gray area we're finding ourselves in? It's hard to form an opinion. I'm going to be honest. But they see the necklace and they decide that they want it. Elsewhere, our old guy's like, hey, this marriage is clearly fake, and you are kind of committing fraud right now. And she's like, well, that's something. But however, the wind is also blowing my hair in my eye, and I haven't really paid attention to a word you said. So he just leaves. But now it's time for the wedding. Our man looking classy as hell, all in white with shades to hide the eye of Sauron he's rocking back there, and a blue do-rag to give the illusion of hair. It's a very clever get-up indeed.
A bonding of two souls in celebration of their deep...
No community property.
It is a precious...
I don't want any.
You're not getting it.
They argue about who legally owns what.
I want 51%.
Of the hotel, when hell freezes.
Of the
Love and two cherries till death do you part?
Honestly, talk away. No one can hear you over the wind. I've been to a wedding on the beach and it's pretty freaking impossible to understand what's happening at all. Just look at how bored Ron Jeremy is. Oh, by the way, if you don't know who Ron Jeremy is, I really, really envy you. But they ask if anybody objects to the marriage, and the old man is like, I do. However, I think the wind is so loud that they just don't hear him, or maybe they just ignore him, but they move right along.
With this ring, I thee wed.
So yeah, they are married. The thieves show up, they drag the girl off to the beach.
Yeah, it came from inside of a shark.
Why don't we go short to him and find out?
And there they steal her fishy necklace. The Hulkster chases after, just showing off how agile he is. And during the fight, the necklace explodes all over the beach. Meanwhile, this guy appears. No, they didn't rent a limo for luxury. It was literally the only thing they could fit him inside of. But they fight. And, well, I say fight, but it mostly just involves Hulk screaming. A lot. And working some totally sick wrestling moves on him. And as a crowd gathers, the baddies run off. And there, the episode just kind of ends.
They took my necklace. It's scattered everywhere.
Drew, get a metal detector.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's to be continued. It's a bold strategy for a pilot episode. But we get a sneak peek at next time where we see they actually use the boat. Or, so we're teased. And they apparently go to Treasure Island. And I'm sure it's gonna be great. So let's bounce on over to Redeye Reacts. Oh, I love the beach. I haven't had an erection since 1972.
Squid, tag, snake, witch.
Get back, witch!
I'm not a witch, I'm your wife!
Did I ever tell you that Spence saved my life? Took a bullet in his chest that was coming at me.
Yeah, Spence saved my life. Took a bullet for me that would have killed me, but his pecs bounced the bullet off.
And I'd like to keep one of these suckers for whaling. Spot a humpback off the starboard.
What the hell are you talking about?
Launch a stinger into his back. Come on, Bluey.
Who are you talking to?
Oh, darling.
Hi, Uncle Edward.
I will lightly tap you on the head like a real relative would. That is it. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a weird day, hasn't it? It's a weird video. I did a lot of voices. I was in and out. It was crazy. A huge shout out to the Patreon community. Once again, I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to do what they do, which is kind of control me at like a personal level, just tell me what to do and when to do it. Honestly, it's a little kinky what they do if you really put it into perspective. But if you want to do that with me, there's a link down below. Sign up for not exactly what I just said, but pretty close to what I said. I also have a Discord community. They're pretty great, and we talk about equally less creepy, not kinky things. Just take my word for it, and if not, go check it out. I have a link down there for that too. And a merch store with some shirts that might be, conflicting copyright-wise, but I don't know. I didn't really look into it legally, so we'll find out later, I guess. But that link is down below as well. I will see you next time, and until then, stay happy and stay healthy.
I love that wicked smile.